last one for me. A couple other veterans, Anthony Smith, Andre Arlovski, Cub Swanson, came up short. What do you want for them in the red? What are you going to do with them in their regards?
Yeah, this is Andre's last fight. I don't know what Cub's going to do. Obviously Smith is already, a part of the team here and working here. I don't know. We'll see how it all plays out. But, all people that we truly respect and care about. So we'll see what happens.
Dana, you guys posted the main event finish on your socials and on your UFC YouTube. What goes into that decision? Is it ESPN's call, or do you think, hey, this is a chance to take Alex to an even higher superstar status?
Yeah, anytime that you can, when you have the sequence like we put out tonight,
that's probably people leaving.
This is insane. This is literally crazy. But we talked to ESPN and. Listen, I said this a couple times when I first got into business with ESPN. You got to work out all the kinks and bugs and working with each other. We've done that, and I'm in a great place. I have a great relationship with ESPN, and we work together to build the sport, build the brand, build their platform, and we really work well together now. So that's how that works.
It's a pretty good place going into negotiations for next year.
Is that what?
It means you guys are in a pretty good place going into negotiations.
I've already had all the headbutting I could have with ESPN to get to where we are now, to have this incredible relationship that we have. I can't say enough good things about the relationship that I have with ESPN right now. Okay. As far as the rights deal coming up, it is what it is.
When you look at Alex, every time he wins, right, it almost makes the win Israel has over him more impressive. And that was an amazing rivalry for those two, but they still 1-1. Do you think that's something we could revisit one day for a trilogy fight?
What's the question again? What did you say?
Do you think we could ever see Izzy versus Alex 3?
I mean, they're still at the top of their game. I don't know. You could. Who wouldn't want to see the fight? I mean, they're great fights. But what it sounds like to me, not just Joe Rogan and everybody else, they wants to see him go to heavyweight. And when we were talking to him tonight, he doesn't give a shit. He said, I'll fight at heavyweight. I'll fight wherever you want, whenever you want. He's ready to turn around and wants to fight again right away. So he's that guy. He's a savage, man. The guy's an absolute stud. And not to mention the fact that he's a smart guy and realizes time isn't your friend in this game. And get in there, accomplish as many great things as you can. Like you guys were saying, whoever said it earlier, look at what a huge star he's become in such a short amount of time, because people in the fight business love guys who want to fight, love guys who want to finish, love guys who want to compete. As a fight fan, he's like the ideal fighter that you would follow and become a fan of.
Dana, kind of going off that, you said $16 million gate. I know it was over 20 with Connor, but that's still not much of a drop off. I mean, does that speak to Alex's star power, the card as a whole? What do you kind of attribute not many people doing refunds to?
Well, I think what happens is that we have built up this trust level with our fan base that they know when they show up that we're going to put on a good show. And that was even with, when the main event falls out, you're able to get refunds. So I think the thing was, you could have got like a 50% refund after the fight fell off, and people didn't do it. They came and came in for International Fight Week. So yeah, I think it's a testament to the trust that we have built with our fan base.
Is Alex one of the more unique personalities you've seen? I mean, he's going to the airport to come to the fight, stopping and changing some random person's tires. He has the walkout, just all these different kind of unique elements to him.
Well, how about the fact that when we called him, he was on vacation in Australia, touring around there, going to children's hospitals, training in different gyms, doing things with sponsors, and the guy jumps on a plane and says, yeah, I'll take the fight, and goes right into camp to train as much as he can before the fight. He, like I said a second ago, he's the kind of fighter that fight fans fall in love with.
And I think you kind of alluded to what your pound for pound rankings still look like. I know we talked about it in Jersey, but where does Alex fit in, and what do you think he would have to do if he goes to heavyweight and gets that third belt? Is he number one then?
You're not wrong. He's another guy that has moved up and is willing to move up to heavyweight. So for all those that don't know what the pound for pound means, that's what it means, guys like that. But still, as long as John Jones is still in the conversation and talking. John Jones has never lost. He's never lost a fight. And like I say, the most amazing thing about John Jones, you can say whatever you want about him, his lifestyle outside the octagon. It's not like this guy was, checking, had the greatest nutritionist and was, like, it was quite the opposite of what happened with John Jones outside the octagon, and he's never lost a fight.
Just last thing for me, I know Brian Ortega didn't end up fighting, but we had this situation in Saudi Arabia with Kelvin Gastelum where it was like close to weigh-ins. He had his opponent, have to move up a division. It was kind of similar with Brian. Is there anything you can do, like in these situations where it's, just before weigh-in and the fighter is informing their opponent that they're not going to make that weight class?
Yeah, it's one of the worst things that happens, and when you have two guys and one guy makes weight and the other guy's, it sucks, but. It's also something that you're going to run into when you're asking people to come in on short notice fights. I mean, it's tough. It's a tough part of the business.
What do you do with Brian going forward? Is he going to be at 55? I know he told me that he was originally planned a lightweight debut at the Sphere before this came up.
Yeah, I don't know. We got to see how he bounces back from this and let him recover, make sure he's okay before we even start talking about what's going to happen with him again.
Dana, a couple back here.
Yep.
Yeah. First, it was recently announced that for Noche UFC, the UFC will have its first title partner, Riyadh Season. What were some of the factors that compelled the UFC to do this?
I spent $17 million on production, and it's not even September yet.
But just one more on that note. I know it's something you've traditionally been very much against, but what, if anything, could Riyadh Season do to compel you to cross-promote? Obviously, there's that Francis Ngannou fight that you think is not going to happen, but is there anything Riyadh could do to maybe twist your arm on that?
Well, I actually respect Sheikh Turki. He's a nice guy, and we have actually formed a relationship over the last couple of months. I respect what he's done with boxing. This is the only guy that could ever pull this off, making these big fights. And the fight was good. It was a good, entertaining fight. You didn't have guys that went in there and tried to avoid a fight so they could try hopefully get to the next big payday. I think that what this guy's done in a short amount of time is pretty incredible. So we're obviously talking about lots of different options with this guy, and I respect him, I like him, so we'll see what the future holds.